Hi, Paraton Weather Meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Friday morning, July 2nd, and we will focus in on Tropical Storm Elsa during this video discussion. We were quite impressed with this tropical system even right after it exited off the west coast of Africa last week. It looked quite healthy as it exited off the coast last week, and it was entering in a region of low wind shear in the eastern part of the Atlantic Ocean, and that allowed it to survive even though it was moving over some cooler than normal waters. It is now about to enter the Caribbean Sea, where the sea surface temperatures are much more favorable than they were out across the eastern part of the Atlantic Ocean. We'll see in a moment the central and western part of the Caribbean Sea actually featuring some above normal, warmer than normal sea surface temperatures right now, and this is a system that absolutely can have an impact on some of those northwestern Caribbean islands like Hispaniola, Jamaica, and Cuba later on this weekend, and then a possible impact on Florida early next week. All of the residents along the Gulf Coast and southeastern U.S. should be monitoring this particular system over the next few days. Again, it could have an impact on Florida and really anywhere along the eastern Gulf of Mexico, the southeast U.S. early to middle part of next week, and there are some signs that it could ride up along the eastern seaboard during the middle and latter parts of next week. This is the latest visible satellite imagery loop from the College of DuPage weather website. Island of Barbados right here, the Windward and Leeward Island chain right here, Caribbean Sea just to the west here, and you can see it's almost looking like it's trying to develop an inner core right now as it crosses over the island of Barbados. There's some reports of wind gusts up to 50 knots right now. It continues to move at a rather fast pace to the west-northwest and will enter the Caribbean Sea later today into tonight after passing over Barbados. But again, a healthy-looking storm. Circulation is certainly better organized than it has been, and sustained winds now up to 60 miles per hour. And this is the latest forecast track from the National Hurricane Center. They're based in Miami, and right now approaching the Windward and Leeward Island chain right here. This is the Caribbean Sea, and it's moving over Barbados right now. Again, a healthy looking storm producing 50-knot winds right now. Maximum sustained winds actually up to 60 miles per hour. The one negative in terms of intensification is that, in fact, it is moving quite rapidly, about 28 miles per hour to the west-northwest. It just kind of inhibits its chances for further intensification. National Hurricane Center maintains its strength as a tropical storm, indicated by this S, all the way through the early part of next week. Can it reach hurricane status? Absolutely. It's not that far away right now, and it certainly can reach hurricane status. The island of Hispaniola, especially Haiti on the west, can certainly be impacted later this weekend by Elsa. Jamaica, and then ultimately Cuba is in the crosshairs for Tropical Storm Elsa. Now, can it turn a little bit farther to the east and go to the east of Florida? For sure. This is still several days away, and that is not much of a change in the track, but certainly all residents in Florida and really throughout the Gulf of Mexico, southeastern U.S. should continue to monitor this situation. We'll be dealing with Elsa in this part of the nation, let's say next Tuesday or Wednesday or so, anywhere from Key West, Florida, really up along the western coast of Florida, and anywhere all the way to the eastern coast of Florida. Again, early to middle part of next week, and then again there are signs that it could ride right up along the eastern seaboard. Whether it makes it all the way up to the mid-Atlantic, way too early to say that. Certainly there's a chance it could go all the way up to the Carolina coastline and maybe even beyond that. But this is the general track. Again, very fast-moving system right now. Will tend to inhibit its potential for intensification, but it certainly can make it all the way to hurricane status. Watch out later in the weekend across the central and western part of the Caribbean Sea. These islands here, Hispaniola, which has Haiti on the western side, Dominican Republic on the right side, Jamaica and Cuba. And one thing to note, this part of the Caribbean, these islands have substantial mountainous areas. So If the system goes directly over Hispaniola, it certainly can be weakened. Cuba has some high terrain, certainly can weaken the system. So that's another thing. It's a little bit hard to predict right now how this system will survive going over Cuba, or perhaps going over Hispaniola. Better chance of it going over Cuba, which does again have some high terrain. It's kind of a saving grace for the Keys, as any system that goes over Cuba tends to weaken some, but there is the Gulf of Florida where it could re-intensify. We'll keep an eye on the movement of this too. Again, right now moving along at a fast clip, about 28 miles per hour. Well, we talked briefly about the sea surface temperature anomalies, and I just wanted to show that here. This is looking the far eastern part of the tropical Atlantic. This is actually the west coast of Africa right here. And this system exited off the west coast of Africa right in this region last week in an area of cooler than normal waters, but that wasn't enough to weaken this system completely. It held together mainly because of low wind shear in the tropical part of the Atlantic Ocean. But notice all this cooler than normal waters here that it has trekked over the last few days, and right now it has reached Barbados right here, far left of this particular image, where sea surface temperatures are normal or even above normal just to the south of Barbados. So the fact that it has survived this trek over cooler than normal waters, reached Barbados, again, is a kind of a red flag here, a warning sign that this is a healthy system. And let's now take a look at what kind of sea surface temperatures it will encounter over the next few days.